Hello out there. We're on the air. It's hockey night tonight. My Canadian friends will get that one. We watched that video probably 6 months ago now. Man, the shows, we're coming up to a year here. What should we do for a year? It's been a lot of shows, been a lot of discussions. Oh, I got to update the zaps. Shoot. It's been a lot of shows, been a lot of topics, been a lot of new faces in the chat here. It's good. It's really good to see. I'm just going to update the zap.stream here very quickly, and then we'll get to it. I tried closing a bunch of tabs today, thinking that maybe that'll be our issue with Bitcoin. Well, I don't want to put the blame on them yet. I want to try this first. So we have usually have like 3,000 tabs open. And it would make sense if the computer, the laptop doesn't have enough, I don't know what you call it, RAM. I remember RAM from like the early days in school, learning about RAM of a computer. I wish I would have paid a little bit closer attention to the Bitcoin stuff, or not Bitcoin, computer stuff in school. It's too cool. Too cool to learn about it. Anyways, Johnny is in the house. Look at this nice picture here. Scarpelli Productions. Good to see you, my friend. Nice picture. Is that a dog? I can't really tell. Django, one of our Bitcoin journeymen. Good morning. Hey-o, Bitcoiners. Rock and roll. Good morning, Johnny, and wonderful Bitcoiners. Let's crush it today. Absolutely. It is Tuesday. It is our favorite day of the week. Tuesdays. Right? Muslim Bitcoiner. I saw him. The DNC's Biden farewell speech brought a tear to my eye from the fact that I still got to see him on screen. Oh, there's some stuff happening at the DNC convention, that's for sure. I wanted to talk about a few. Maybe I'll talk about a few of them right off the hop here. Timber Crasher, another one of our Bitcoin journeymen. Good morning, Bitcoiners. Keep stacking sats. And Rick says, I may not know everything about RAM. I don't even know if it's RAM. I think I just made that up. It just sounded like a familiar term. I don't know anything about RAM, but I know how to smash the like. My God. Is that Arnie or is that the wind? I think the wind, but let's see. No Arnie yet. He'll show up. He's eating the carrot, I think, right now. Big carrot guy. I can hear him munching. Cold Deck. Good morning. Good morning, Thiago. Rick says RAM equals random access memory. Yeah, I think that actually makes sense. Maybe I paid attention in school closer than I thought I did. I'm trying to forget most of it, though. That's the key. I saw somebody or a tweet online or a post, whatever it was. It said, for the people who don't get sick, share your secret or share your remedies. And I really haven't been sick. I think I've been sick once in like the last 3 years, maybe. But my advice, what I said for people, is to basically take whatever information, whatever guidance you receive from your federal government and do the exact opposite of that. That's the best way to stay healthy. So there you go. That's all we have for today. Arn might be making his way over here. Sounds like it. Is that him? I was thinking about it. A little wine. I don't know. Maybe his carrot was too small today. It's kind of like a horse. Just give him a carrot and it's good for a while. All right. Well, welcome. Welcome to another edition, another episode of the Daily Bitcoin Journey. Cheers. The show is focused on actionable and logical discussion for Bitcoiners and for future Bitcoiners. And the goal is to learn a bit about Bitcoin, buy a little bit of Bitcoin, Buy as much Bitcoin as you can, actually. But at the end of the day, the main goal here is to free yourself. Freedom. Escape the matrix. Escape the fiat slavery system. That's our main goal. So the more Bitcoin we can get, the bigger we can grow our Bitcoin network, our community here, the faster we can exit the fiat system, because that's really the detriment to society. And that's what my goal is. That's what your goal should be. And we're here to help with that. I just realized my hat is backwards. How did that happen? Fine times. Hello, everyone. That's a very unique way to spell everyone. I kind of like it. And we got, look at this. We got Letha over in zap.stream, and we got Sunshine. Sunshine. 420 sad zap. Thank you, my friend. Speaking of zap.stream, I just realized I didn't even share it this morning on the Nostrs. How can anybody find us if we don't share it? Thanks to my new clipboard here, this is a very smooth process now. All right. Well, let's get going. We got a big show today. We got lessons from the last bull run. It's going to be a good one today, I think. Speaking of that, yesterday I made a post about this on Nostr last night, but I know not everybody's on Nostr. So there's some days here at the show. I mean, it's tough for me because I just sit here for like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours someday, and just talk. Obviously, the people in the chat, the community here helps quite a bit with, with content and having stuff to talk about. But I never really know how my shows, how the message gets across. Some days I get off and just kind of based on the amount of chats, the amount of conversation, the amount of praise, I guess, within the chat, I get a pretty good feeling about the show. And yesterday, the show, I didn't have that. I just thought it was a Monday. It's usually pretty rusty on Mondays. And I didn't have that feeling yesterday. But I'll tell you, I received more messages, emails, zaps, boosts on Fountain, and even had a guy book an appointment yesterday. And we talked for an hour and a half. This is his first time watching the show yesterday. And we talked for an hour and a half. I'm helping him get into Bitcoin. Him or her. I shouldn't give away any genders here. It's very, I like people to be private. But we had a great chat. And I'm really looking forward to working with them in the future here to help them get some Bitcoin, keep it safe, and just kind of the ins and outs. There's so much to know. If you're somebody who's new into Bitcoin, there's more stuff than you can even imagine to know. But the thing to keep in mind is you just want to take it slow. You don't want to get too far ahead of yourself. You don't want to make any stupid decisions or try to do too much too fast. You really just have to have something down as a strategy, follow it, have somebody help you either invest a lot of time or some money in it. And because this stuff's important, it's very important what you do right off the start. Your foundation in Bitcoin is everything. It's the most important thing. So the one thing I want to propose to people, because I know that there's a lot of people who watch this show on YouTube, like the video version of it. There's lots of people in the Zap stream who watch it, and later on Spotify. But here's what I want to do. Challenge for the show. I want everybody, even if you watch the show live today on video. Okay, Arnie's playing here, but I gotta shut the door. Usually open that door and close it a couple times throughout the show. But anyways, here's what I want you to do. If you don't already have the Fountain app, I want you to get it because it's the easiest way. I think I did a list of like top 10 ways to earn Bitcoin a couple months ago. And the Fountain app is number one for easiest. All you have to do is download the app, set up a profile, and start listening to podcasts on there and earning free sats every single day. So the challenge today is for this specific episode, you can send in any amount, any boost, 100 sats, 1,000 sats, 10,000 sats, any amount. Leave a little comment there if you want to. If not, doesn't matter. But I want you to get on the Fountain app. I want you to send the show a boost. And maybe it'll help with the helping new people find the show that way. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick whoever leaves a boost. I'm going to do a random draw here live on the show. And the winner of that is going to get a little prize. And I think I have an idea of it. I'm going to send it's going to be a handwritten note or something. Hopefully that you can hang on your wall, or I'll probably set up a little chat or an email exchange back and forth with you, maybe on Signal, get to know you a little bit, and then send you a handwritten note and a little thing to put on your wall if you want to. So if that sounds lame to you, then that's fine. But if it sounds kind of cool to you, you want to learn a little bit more about Fountain or just help support the show, that's what we're going to be doing today for this show. So if you're watching on Fountain or you're thinking about participating in this contest, that's how you can do it. So we'll probably make the draw later in the week or next week once we have the boosts all in. But very easy. So you download Fountain, set up a profile. You can deposit funds with a Lightning wallet, and you can boost podcasters, and you can earn free sats every day. So that's my challenge for you today. Get onto Fountain, leave a boost on the Daily Bitcoin Journey, and we're going to do a draw, and someone's going to win a handwritten. I'll send it to your house or wherever you want me to send it to, your work, and you can do what you want with that. So I understand not everybody's going to be interested in that, but some might. So there's your challenge for today. And on yesterday's show, I'm just going to bring up the boosts here because there was a few. Last week I missed one. There was Dom. Dom sent in a boost for 5,000 sats on Fountain, just to support the show and give a few kind words there. So thank you to Dom, my buddy from Australia. All right, so here's the boost from yesterday's show. We had user 787-47517 boosted 1,000 sats. Jer boosted 500 sats on the show with one of these emojis, the salute sign for anybody who's listening to the audio. User 8134, a bunch of numbers. Thanks for the stream twice, 420 boost. So thank you for that. And again, user 787 boosted another 100 sats and said, I related on so many levels with your opinions and personal experience during COVID. The dark days of COVID sanitarian dictature were also a turning point for me. I am unfortunately still dependent on fiat, but working on an exit strategy. Keep up the good work. So those were the boosts all from yesterday's show. Thank you to everybody who boosted. Oh, and Letha I just see on here too. Looks like she boosted, I don't know if it was on that show or not, but boosted 500 sats. Hot show. That might have just been right now. Yeah, it was. So thank you to Letha for that. A live boost on her. I've never seen that before. From Fountain. Thank you, Letha. JH. It's good initials. Entire paycheck other than necessities has gone to Bitcoin bag this year. Keep grinding, everyone. Nice. Nice. It's crazy. We're going to think, we're going to look back in a decade from now, or even less than that, at something like that, where you can take all your excess cash flow every month, whatever that is, whether that's $10, $100, $1,000, wherever that is, you put in that into Bitcoin every month, and you do that for a couple of years, and look back in a decade. It probably won't seem like much because our minds are still so ingrained in the fiat system. That's what a lot of people still do. They don't even look at the amount of Bitcoin. They look at the price that it's worth. But in a decade from now, it'll be crazy to watch the value of that. Something, a DCA strategy, or just taking what you can and putting into Bitcoin in 2024, going to be the best decision of your life. Fine times. What's the difference between ROM and RAM? Or what about ROM with RAHM? That's John Rom. I don't know what the hell ROM is. I'm not technical. That's why I think people enjoy the show. All right, I'm tired of the backwards ad here. I'm tired of it. Look like a punk. I don't need any more people in the YouTube chats. What'd that guy call me? A teenager with a ball cap? We don't need any of those. Alpha Omega says, good morning, Bitcoin nerds. Proud nerds. Okay, well, like I said, today's show is going to be the lessons we've learned in the last bull run. I was here for the last one, and it was a wild time. And I think that we're approaching the next one here. Probably not this week, probably not even next month, but sometime in 2024, there's going to be some big time movement, hopefully upwards, but we need to be ready for it. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be preparing for that. All right. Sorry, I don't mean to do this on the air, but there we go. So there's the boosts. One other thing I want to mention before we get into things too serious today. But I know that there's a lot of people who watch the show who have recently joined Nostr. And I'm a big proponent of Nostr. Obviously, I've been talking about it for a long time, almost ad nausea on the show for some. But what I want you to do is, I know that there's a lot of people who have got an account, got an NPub and NSEC, private key, and a public key pair. So just find a way to get a hold of me and shoot me your NPub, because I want to follow everybody who's joined Nostr after watching the show. So make sure that you look in the show notes. You can get my contact info in there. Shoot me an email just with your NPub. And if you feel like it, for a bonus point, put your YouTube name in there just so I can connect the two a little bit. But if you recently downloaded a Nostr client and you're set up on there now, let me know, because I want to follow you on there. Matthew Hines says it's a lonely bull market. I mean, it's just a lonely life for the most part in Bitcoin. But one thing I'll say, and I know that there's always going to be new people watching the show, but if you do feel like that, if you're feeling lonely and you need just somebody to talk about things with, to share resources with, to share ideas with, to build something together, to start different ventures within Bitcoin, because we're moving from a very niche market here within Bitcoin, very small market cap. And over the next 5-10 years, it's going to turn into something very big, bigger than we can even imagine. It's going to go mainstream. So if you look at one of those adoption curves, the S curves, we're still in the very flat portion of that. So you need to be using this time here to build your network. And I mean, aside from the lonely aspect of it, I think it's a really good opportunity for people. So if that's something that you're interested in, also shoot me an email and I can kind of point you in the direction of which tier/community would be best for you where you are. But just consider looking at the Patreon in the show notes here, because we got a group chat in there, and you wouldn't believe how much information flows through that, how valuable that is to people. And it's pretty cool. So Matthew, if you're interested in that, check out the visionary tier on living in the future. But the one thing I was going to say on that, in the meantime here, as I get through the mempool, as I get through the news and the Bitcoin well stuff, if you've been through a bull run before, if this is not your first rodeo here, put in the comments of the lessons that you learned. Could be one thing, could be a few things, but let us know and we'll discuss them here on the show today. JH says, how do you create a password on Nostr? You don't. It's actually provided for you. So when you create a new account on Nostr, they provide you with your NPub, which Matthew displayed here for his account. This is how people find you. So there's no unique usernames like there are in traditional social media platforms. And Nostr is not a social media platform. I don't want to get confused here, but that's how it's acting right now. Pretty much. That's what people use it most for right now. So this would be like your username, your NPub. This is how people will find you. Because my username on there is Jor, but there could be 20 other Jors. So this is how people identify you, is with your NPub. And then with that, it's a public and private key pair, just like we have with Bitcoin. So you're going to get it's called your private key for your Nostr account. It starts with NSEC instead of NPub. So NPub you can share with anybody. Think of it like your username. That's how people will find you. Your NSEC is like your password. So that's something that you want to put into a password manager, you can write it down in your notepad just to make sure you don't lose access to it. But that's what you would share with nobody, just like your Bitcoin private key, your 12 words. Think of it like that. Matthew says use Damus. Yeah, if you're in Canada, you can use Damus. And if you're on iOS, personally, I'm on Android now and I use Amethyst, but I still have my old iPhone that I use Damus with as well. So I would say the top 3 clients, maybe top 4 we'll go with for Nostr. You can use Amethyst if you're on Android, Damus if you're on iOS. Primal is available on both, plus the desktop version. So I think Primal is probably the most popular. I prefer Amethyst on Android and Damus actually in iOS over Primal, but very easy. And then there's also one called Nostr that people like. I like that one too. It's a little bit more interactive. There's more stuff going on there, but it's not as friendly of a user face to me. The experience, the UI, UE, I don't know. User experience, UX. I don't know. I try to keep up with the Bitcoin slang, but I really can't keep up. UI would be user interface. UX, I think, is the user experience. Is that right? I got to top up my Zap machine. All right, we paid the piper. The piper has been paid. All right. So is that it for Nostr? I think that's all I wanted to say. So anyways, all you have to do with that is you just download one of the apps from the App Store, whichever operating system you're using, iOS or Android. Download one of those from the App Store and then go to create a new account. They'll set you up with the public and private key pair, and then you're good to go. Cheers to Nostr. Nostr is going to actually, I know we talk about it like a social media platform, but Nostr is going to change the way we do everything on the internet in terms of identity, in terms of sending value back and forth, in terms of building open protocols, different clients having the ability to move between them, taking their ability to censor you away. So the beauty about Nostr is, like, let's say I was using Damus. And I made a post that Will, the creator of Damus, didn't like. So Damus itself is it's centralized. It's just like traditional social media. So let's say that Will didn't like a post that I made. He could ban me from Damus. But because I have my public key and my private key, I'm actually able to hop between clients and everything looks the exact same. There's different features within every client. Think of a client just like an app. That's basically what it is, but non-technical wise. So I could actually hop onto Primal then. I could take my public key, my private key pair, hop onto Primal, and I would be back to normal there. Or I could go to Amethyst, or I could go to Nostr, or any client for that matter. And everything would look the exact same. All my followers would be there. My people that I'm following would be there. My feed would be the exact same. All my posts would be there. So that's the beauty of it. It's going to be very hard for anybody to try and censor you online with Nostr, using Nostr as a protocol. Cold Deck says Bitcoin will bore you or scare you out if you don't have conviction. 100%. That was my lesson. Yeah, I mean, that's the hard part. And that's one of the things we actually have down here. So you got that one in early. Sunshine. 2017 bull run was insane. Insane hype and mania. But it only lasted 10 days total. And the 2021 bull run never got close to that insane hype levels. I think people are sleeping on this next bull run, going to be massive. It will put 2020 to shame. I agree. The amount of capital that's flowed into Bitcoin in the last 6 months or 8 months now, it's going to be big. I know I say that all the time on the show here, but it's going to be bigger than we can imagine. I heard Arnie there, and I guess he's gone away. IT Me says, I think ROM is an instruction and RAM is memory storage. Yeah, that sounds right. Anyways, we're not a computer expert show on here, so we'll move past that. Look at this. Steven, Jor, Jeff Booth follows me on Nostr. What a day. Simply because I was in early. I mean, that's the main benefit to using Nostr right now. You have the opportunity to build, to find not only a network on there, but find people who share your interests and who are interested in what you're talking about. If you're adding value to people on Nostr right now, when everybody else shows up, you're going to be so far ahead of them. And you don't even know what kind of value that is going to hold for you. And it's not just for the interactions, it's not just for the zaps, but it's for the network aspect of it. And, having the ability to converse with Jeff Booth, it's the only place you'll be able to do that. You try Nostr, you try email, maybe. But on Nostr, if you send Jeff a message or mention him in a post or zap him, you're going to get his attention. And in Steven's case, he followed him. So that's what a buzz is, right? That's so cool to me. And, once everybody else shows up, just like within Bitcoin, the opportunity will be gone. Kappa attack. Stay solvent. Don't use leverage. FOMO will want to make you do it, but the market will not do what you expect when you expect it. That's such great advice there. Such great advice. Thank you for sharing that one. GUI, what's that? General User Interface? I don't know. Matthew Hines says, second run. My biggest advice is not to get so excited when everyone thinks you're a genius and you answer their questions. Recognize the biggest gift is teaching big picture and strategy over emotions. Yeah, one thing I'm going to be talking about actually in the second part of the show today with these lessons is not only trying not to get excited, but being ready for it. That's a big one. Be ready for, if people know that you're a Bitcoiner, be ready for them to come to you for advice and for your education, for your knowledge. And the more prepared you are, I think the more you'll actually benefit from it, which, isn't the number one goal here. But I think that being this early in Bitcoin is going to have a ton of different benefits in different stages here and at different levels. And I think that you can actually, because you put in the time, because you've taken the time and energy to learn about Bitcoin, and you have that knowledge now that you can share with people, you should be rewarded for that. That's the whole value for value model. And, you don't really need to put a price on it, but you should be getting something from people. We got a couple end pubs here. So just if Matthew and JH are watching here, maybe leave this as a comment after the video, after it's published. Leave this in the comment section, just so people can copy and paste it, because I don't think you can copy and paste here on the live chat. Alpha X Omega says, I've heard that millionaires will be locked out of Bitcoin. Right now is their chance to try as hard as you can to secure one Bitcoin. Hold on to it for dear life. You will be in the 1%. I think that's what a lot of people are missing right now, is the fact that there are a lot of millionaires who simply cannot buy Bitcoin right now. Cannot. And personally, maybe, and I'm sure some of them do own a personal amount, but for the most part, all of their wealth is within their companies, within their corporate structure. That's where that's where they keep all their wealth within. It's hidden behind a wall of liability in a corporation. And for a lot of companies, they don't have the ability to buy Bitcoin right now. They need it to be either in an ETF form, or they have to change their shareholder. What the hell is it called? Their rules, I guess. I don't know what their official word for it is, but their rules within their corporation. So we are at a point now where we have the ability to buy things that the richest people on earth don't have access to yet. We're front running them. Rick said, did you try the Bitcoin well today? Not yet. I'm going to do that right now. And hopefully, oh, that's not the right password. Another super underrated part of Nostr is the password aspect of it. I'm sure anybody in the chat can relate to how many passwords we have to keep track of now, how many usernames, emails, passwords. Everyone's different. We have 1,000 different accounts at different places. With Nostr, you simply have one public key, one private key. That's it. One thing to manage. And usually humans flock towards the most efficient way to do things and the easiest way. And that's why they'll end up in Nostr. All right, let's do this. We didn't do the mempool today, but we're at a high block. Price is the same. I think we actually are in 60,000 territory now, but still completely irrelevant. All right, let's try this out. Somebody's going to win some free Bitcoin today. Who will it be if it works? No, that's okay. So here's actually, I'll bring this up. So these are all the things within Bitcoin Well that you actually earn points for. So you get 3 points for every $10 buy or sell, at least $10. You get 5 points for every $10 recurring buy. You get 500 points for your first transaction, 500 for the Bitcoin knowledge quiz, 500 if you sign up a friend, or when you sign up, if you were referred by a friend, 1,000 if you refer a friend, and 1,000 for your first friend's buy and sell, or your friend's first buy and sell. And all these points you can collect here, and you can actually redeem them by tossing coins into the wishing well. So that's what we do on the show every day. And we're going to do it right now, if it works. Ready? $500 sats. Somebody here just won 500 sats. I'll just double check that it's been claimed. So if you're new to the show, the best way to claim one of those is just get a Lightning wallet. You can use Wallet, Satoshi, Phoenix, Mutiny, Minibits, and you actually press send instead of receive, which is backwards, but that's how it works because you actually have to scan the QR code there to get it, to redeem it. So you click send, you scan it. Unfortunately, it has been claimed, but better luck tomorrow. So there we go. We got the Bitcoin well working today. That's always a good day when that happens. We've had some bad luck there in the past. So I think that might be the key, just to maybe not have 1,000 tabs open at one time. But thank you once again to Bitcoin Well. I actually got an email from Adam yesterday. It sounds like they're going to be doing a couple new things for their partners, like the Bitcoin journey. So I got hooked up with their new, I forget what they called it, his title of his job, but we got some fun things coming from Bitcoin Well. So in the meantime, make sure you get a Bitcoin Well account. Go to bitcoinwell.com/Jor. Get an account to get 5 free tosses into the well, which equates to free Bitcoin. And they're a great company. They're in Canada and the US. If you're in any of those countries, that's who's going to be using this. But 1% spread, the Bitcoin, they don't hold any Bitcoin. It goes directly from the exchange into your Bitcoin wallet or your cold storage. And pretty good stuff. You can set up recurring buys too, which is pretty badass. It's kind of like the Strike of Canada. And Adam's such a great guy. I like supporting people who are in it for the right reasons. So bitcoinwell.com/Jor. And we had, look at that, we had 2 people sign up even yesterday. So we're going to keep an eye on that. We got 42 people already. I want to try to get everybody in Canada and the US who watch the show just to get an account. Because as we're going to talk about here in the second part of the show, you're going to want to have a secondary or a third account in exchange that you can use just in case. All right. So let's get to a bit of news here, and then we're going to move to part 2. This was the most important part of today that I wanted to show for the first part. I made a post on Nostr yesterday asking people who their least favorite Bitcoin influencer is, just to get a gauge of everybody. And a couple of people said Michael Saylor. And I mean, that's their opinion. I'm not going to try to talk anybody out of their own opinion. But I just don't see that at all. I feel like he's been completely transparent with everything. He's done a hell of a lot for Bitcoin. And I'm not going to sit here and suck as you know what, but I just can't believe people are still thinking like that. The one problem I have with Bitcoiners is they're almost too paranoid. They're too black-pilled. I think that they automatically, which is probably a good thing. You know, I'm not that way, but a lot of people don't trust anybody until they know for sure. I'm kind of like, I trust people until they prove me otherwise, until they prove me wrong. But this was a quick, short clip from his little fireside chat he did after his speech, I think it was, that they just posted on their YouTube yesterday. It's about 35-minute video. This is only a 2-minute clip from it, but listen to this.
I didn't answer your last question, which is, key man risk. What if I go away? And I thought about it, and and what I would just say is, first of all, I don't have any heirs, but a nonprofit foundation, which will morph in being a public charity. So when I'm gone, my stock, my shares, my assets flow into a public charity whose mission is to support Bitcoin and the adoption of Bitcoin forever. And so you don't have to worry about MicroStrategy changing direction. You don't have to worry about, the truth is, I'm probably better for Bitcoin gone than here. Dead than alive. As long as if you're dead, you can't, what was the word? Murder? Was it slay your heroes? Slay your heroes. So, once I'm gone, I'm not going to be talking, so I can't give a bad tweet, I suppose. And MicroStrategy will just go on with the MicroStrategy. And the MicroStrategy is simple. It's raise capital from the institutions that have capital, buy Bitcoin, hold the Bitcoin forever, don't lose the Bitcoin, don't sell the Bitcoin.
So that's a great note to end on, Michael. Bitcoin is forever to the moon.
Thank you for everybody in the room.
All right, sorry, I had to take a little trip there to get some Kleenex. It seems like every day, halfway through the show, I have this sneeze coming on, and then I never sneeze, so then my nose is just runny for the next hour. So I got ahead of that one. I'm back. So did you hear what he said there? When I'm gone, my stock, my shares, my assets. I don't think that's supposed to be my stock. I think that should be my Bitcoin. Let me just double check. Because I don't know. Did he say Bitcoin or stock? That's important.
And what I would just say is, first of all, I don't have any heirs, but a nonprofit foundation, which will morph in being a public charity. So when I'm gone, my stock, my shares, my assets flow into a public charity whose mission is to support Bitcoin and the adoption of Bitcoin forever.
No, it was correct. Tweet was correct. My stock, my shares, my assets. So I guess his Bitcoin will be included in his assets there. I wonder what's worth more right now, because I know that he has like 17,000 Bitcoin, I think. So I wonder what's worth more, his shares in MicroStrategy right now or his Bitcoin. Both will go up probably in the same proportion. But so when he dies, he's already committed to sending his shares in MicroStrategy, his Bitcoin, into a public company whose mission is to support Bitcoin and the adoption of Bitcoin forever. And I've actually heard a couple of different people talking about this. And this is kind of the vibe that I got from Saylor as well, because he's been talking about different initiatives, passing on his Bitcoin, dying with his Bitcoin, essentially, not giving it to anybody else, but giving it to Bitcoin. And I think that's what he meant by this. But it sounds like he's going to be, from my understanding of it, this is just complete hearsay, that what I've heard. It sounds like he's going to be very, what's the word I'm looking for here? What's the word when you give your stuff away? Very philanthropic. It's hard to say words on live shows. I don't know. You know what I mean. He's going to be very giving with his very generous with his Bitcoin. I should have just went with generous there. Going to be very generous with his Bitcoin. And this proves that point, I think. And it's hard now because, he can't really go back on any of these things. He could, and he'd be dead anyway, so nobody would care. But I just feel like, what's the point of lying about that? But I could be wrong. Who knows? So shout out to Saylor for that. That's incredible stuff. If that goes through, if he's true to his word, that's going to be such a big boost. 1% of the Bitcoin will flow back into Bitcoin, essentially. What else we got here today? 41 minutes. We could stretch this thing out a little longer, I think, if we have to. A couple things. This isn't, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I think this is going to be a trend going forward here. So this is from Bitcoin News. Shout out to Bitcoin News. We got a video to watch from Bitcoin News. But this says new employees at South Korean crypto exchange Upbit earned an average of $99,500 in the first half of 2024, surpassing the average salary of workers at major banks like KB, Kookman, Shinhan, Hana, and Woori. So I think this is going to be an important trend to pay attention to as we move forward. Because not only is Bitcoin going to be attracting the capital of the world, it's going to be attracting the best minds of the world. And we're already seeing that. If you're somebody who knows what's going on and you're in tune with this shift we're making into this new economy, you're already working in Bitcoin. You're building something, you're working for a company, or you're helping people learn about Bitcoin. But it seems to me like the most intelligent minds are already kind of in Bitcoin. And that's a big deal, because when you have the most intelligent people working on something, that's what usually grows the most. And so this says that the crypto exchange Upbit, the employees there are earning more than you would at a bank. So the intellectual capital, the intelligence, is slowly moving over to Bitcoin, just like everything else is. And I mean, if you have the option now, if you're somebody, like I said, who's in tune with everything that's going on right now, and you have the option between working in Bitcoin or at a bank, which one are you going to probably go with? And as the intelligent people choose Bitcoin, that system grows and the other system is drained. Brain drain, they call it. The most intelligent people are going to be working in Bitcoin, and that's going to be such a boost for the adoption of Bitcoin, the development of Bitcoin, and pushing this whole thing forward. So that's kind of where we are right now. And this is another one from Bitcoin News that I wanted to share. And sorry, I'm not keeping up with the comments very well right now, but I'll get to them. So this is new. 15 of the 25 largest hedge funds have disclosed Bitcoin ETFs. So this is after their Q2 reporting. 15 to 25. I think last time we looked at this, it was 12 or 13 of the 25 largest hedge funds had Bitcoin. But the one thing that I wanted to, here you can see the Q2 purchases here. So you can see here that 2 of the top 5 largest hedge funds have disclosed owning Bitcoin. have not, sorry, Bridgewater and Mariner. No, sorry. God, I can't even read. Bridgewater Associates and AQR Capital Management do not have any Bitcoin exposure right now. So if you own Bitcoin, you're ahead of these hedge funds. Even if you have a quarter of a Bitcoin, you're ahead of these hedge funds. And that's kind of the theme of front running this whole thing today, is just showing, I mean, it's exciting that 15 of the top 25 do have Bitcoin exposure, but I think the thing to pay attention to here is the fact that 4 of the top 10 do not. So I think there's a phrase for that. What is it? HFSP? Have fun staying poor. I like that one. I see my Path to Fire over in the Zap.stream has zapped 100 sats. Thank you, my friend. We got Noah is over there, and these usernames aren't showing up. So good on Noah for announcing herself. I think it's her anyways. I'm pretty sure. Looks like her. Okay, let's take a wee break here. Let's catch up. Catch up on some chats. Muslim Bitcoiner says, after the 2016 halving, Bitcoin consolidated for 217 days before surging. The 2020 halving saw a 182-day consolidation before a massive bull run. 2024 consolidation, we're at 141. And I'm thinking, eat y'all. Thank you. I don't know what the last part means there, but basically he's saying that we're getting to the point now where the bull run's about to begin. Cold Deck said, Max Kaiser is my least favorite. Too much yelling and insanity. Yeah, I agree too. I think his heart's in the right spot, but here we go. But he is a little bit too much for me. Philanthropist. That's what I was looking for. Philanthropy. Thank you. That was tough to be a part of. All right. I want to watch one more video here. I had a couple more things that I want to talk about, but yeah, let's watch 2 more. We got time. So this is something that we watched on the show yesterday, or we took a look at, but this dives a little bit further into it. So I thought it was kind of relevant to show today. This is actually Luke from Bitcoin News. I think they do at least one show every week on their Bitcoin News YouTube channel. Different interview, different production, whatever that is. But this one is from Luke at Bitcoin News talking about the new Prime Minister of Thailand.
We can see here that Thailand has just elected their youngest Prime Minister in history. That's interesting. Cool. What's more interesting, she's a Bitcoin bull. Believe it or not, if you think that sounds crazy, this is her dad. Her dad is the former Prime Minister of the country. Now, I want you guys to let me know what you think is a little bit strange or interesting about what's in the background of all 4 of these interviews is the block clock. In the top left of every single image there, you can see a Bitcoin block clock. Josh Bryant nails it. Price. That's the Bitcoin price on that little clock-looking thing in the top left of every single video. The former Prime Minister of Thailand is a Bitcoiner. And his daughter right now is the block clock in the background. And have a look at the price as well. It was proudly displaying that block clock when Bitcoin was at $19,000 a coin, $21,000 a coin. This was in the middle of the bear market. The former Prime Minister of Thailand said, yes, I'm a Bitcoiner. I've got a block clock in the background of every single one of my interviews, and I'm not ashamed of it. As Michael Saylor says,
What happens if 10 billionaires decide to buy $1 billion of Bitcoin each and announce we bought it? We're not ashamed of it. We're going to buy more. All your models are destroyed, completely devastated.
I'm on mute. So kind of important. It's the interesting thing to me is like people like that, like a very influential person, especially in that part of the world, But they do these things without really coming out and saying, hey, I own Bitcoin. I'm a Bitcoiner. They don't just come out and say that. But then they show you things like a block clock in the background. And if you think that that wasn't intentional, as somebody who has a show, has a camera where people can see it all the time, absolutely know what's behind me and what I want behind me. That wasn't an accident that he had a block clock there. And pretty cool that he had it there during, as he mentioned there, as Luke mentioned, the bear run. $19,000 Bitcoin was. That's kind of when we actually started our 88 sats project, our golf and Bitcoin project, when the price was around 16 or 17,000 bucks, and a whole bunch of people bought Bitcoin at the time. So they're pretty happy with that investment now. So there's a couple different comments here in Zap.stream here this morning about sats.gg. I've never seen that before. So it looks like you can actually watch the shows if you go to sats.gg and try that out, because we're actually going to be switching over right now. So you got a couple options here. We're going to be talking about, I got 5 or 6 things here for the lessons. We already covered a bunch of good stuff here in the show today, but I'm going to be sharing my lessons from the last bull run on the second part of the show. So if you would like to catch that, you got 3 options. Number 1, you can join as a Bitcoin journeyman within the YouTube channel here. You just go to my channel, you click join. It's $3 per month Canadian. You get to see every full show uninterrupted, no ads. You don't have to go anywhere. So $3 a month, that's what you get for that. $5 a month, you get in the Living in the Future community. That's what I was talking about earlier in the show with the Signal chat. You just get a little bit more for that. And then the last part is I completely understand if you're not in a position, you don't want to be putting more memberships on your credit cards. You can go to zap.stream or you can go to sats.gg. Or 4th option, this is the bonus one, and I haven't really mentioned this too much before, but I do have a couple people within the community here who are actually paying in Bitcoin. So like I said, if you don't want to put in your credit card information, if you don't want a recurring buy every month and adding to that, and you got some Bitcoin that you want to spread around, you can actually just shoot me an email and I'll include you in everything that's going on here. Signal chat, everything for Bitcoin instead of using one of the Patreon or YouTube options. So that's it. And Fine Times here said, found you on Fountain. There you go. So that was the challenge today. Get onto Fountain, send this episode a boost of any amount, and we're actually going to do a draw for a winner, and I'm going to send them a handwritten note or a quote that they can put on their wall. And have a little chat, get to know you, figure out which quote would be most applicable for you. And then you can hang that on your wall. It'll be number 1 of many. I think it's a cool idea. I got a couple of those around my house just as reminders and kind of decorations, but I like that. I got some really fancy paper here that I'll write it on. And that's it. So hope you enjoyed it today. If you want to catch the second part of the show, if you're somebody who hasn't been through a Bitcoin bull run before and you want some things to watch out for, I would highly suggest checking out today's show. And if you're watching this later and you want to get access to it, you can just sign up as either one of those options, and you're going to see the recorded version on the feed. So there you go. And Fine Times is one of the boosts from yesterday. So thank you for that. I read the boost at the start of the show today. If we get a little bit more traction on there, I'll start making that part of the show as well. So that's it. Thanks everybody for being here. I hope you have a great Tuesday. And I really hope that you join us, because I got some good info here for people who are, even if this isn't your first bull run, I think that there's some good information in here, things to think about, and just ways to prepare for what's coming in these next 6 months here. So have yourselves a great day. And thanks for being here. Thanks for contributing. And hopefully we'll see you on the second part of the show. Bye-bye.